right, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Dish with Diane. I am Diane Connie. This is my very first episode, and with me today I have Mr. Joshua Farrell. Joshua is a school teacher in the New York City school system, and I thought, how timely. All of our kids are out of school for the summer. Hopefully they're reading books and going to bed early and waking up early and staying on track. So the first day of school, they're not kicking and screaming, but another challenge for another day.
Facts.
Today, we're going to talk to Joshua about his experience as a school teacher, some of the things that he has enjoyed, what he's learned, and we're going to have a good time. So I'm going to start with my first question, and that is, tell us who you are and what grade you teach.
Perfect. So my name is Joshua Farrell, as she said. I am her nephew, and I teach in the New York City public school system. I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. For my 6th and 7th grades, I teach life sciences, and then 8th grade, I teach the New York State Regents exam for biology.
For biology.
For biology.
Tough subject.
Very tough subject.
Are they still dissecting frogs?
They are. I actually did that the last week of school.
You saved it for the last week. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So tell us, why teaching? Of all the professions in the world, why teaching?
So teaching wasn't always my first choice for a career. I always knew I wanted to do something where I was helping people. I always really enjoyed that. And I always knew that science was really a strong subject for me. I really am passionate about science. And I originally wanted to be a veterinarian. I really loved animals. And then COVID happened. My paternal grandmother passed away, and that was like really hard for me. So I had switched around COVID to pre-dental, and I was supposed to go straight after I graduated my undergraduate degree, but it just didn't work out that way. I was kind of depressed about my grandma passing away, and I really never processed it. So I told myself I would take a gap year, and I ended up taking a gap year and working at a pharmacy.
Okay.
And when I worked at that pharmacy, a lot of people were there, and just through conversations, they would tell me that they started there and they ended up there for years after, and they were still there just feeling like kind of stuck in life. And I knew I didn't want that for myself.
Absolutely.
And my sister did TFA, Teach for America.
Okay.
And she really enjoyed it. She loved the program, and she's still a teacher to this day. And my
Shout out to Jessica.
Shout out to Jessica. I love you, sis.
Love you.
And my mom, she was kind of pushing me to not just stay stuck and stagnant in life. So I went home that exact same day after having those conversations with my coworkers, and I applied for Teach for America that day. And I decided I really wanted to do it. And as I was going through the process, you know, you have to write personal statements and things like that to get into the program. So I sat and thought about it because I didn't want to just do it just to do it. I wanted to do it because I was passionate about it and I actually enjoyed it. And as I'm writing my personal statement, I came to realize that I grew up partially in New York, partially in Georgia. I spent 10 years of my formative years in Georgia. And throughout my entire educational career, I would say, from kindergarten all the way to college, I only had one Black teacher. Her name was Miss Larkins at General Ray Davis Middle School. I loved her so much. She taught me and my older brother, Davon. And that kind of just pushed me that I want to serve kids who look like me and put them in spaces and give them opportunities to see a teacher that looks like them and say, hey, I can do it too. And if I'm passionate about science, my teacher looks like me, so I can do it as well. I can be a teacher, a science teacher. I can work in the healthcare field. I can be a nurse, a doctor, whatever they want, because I feel like it's very important for them to have role models that look like them so that they know that it can be achieved.
Yeah, I love that. I think representation matters. I face the same issue in the corporate sector, right? So when you have students, they sometimes cannot dream beyond what they've ever seen before. So if they've never seen a teacher, much as a biology teacher, that looks like them, it would never be a path that they would even think is something that they could pursue. And the same is true in the corporate space. Oftentimes people come in, they're at an entry level, and then they look and they see their supervisor is Black or brown or Asian or some other race. They're older, they have a disability, whatever that may be that they recognize, within themselves, and it does inspire them to
Absolutely.
start to aspire for things that they otherwise wouldn't. So regardless of the demographic, representation matters.
Absolutely.
100% matters. So you talked a little bit about working at the pharmacy and having those very tenured employees share their journey of starting there, many of them probably thinking it was part-time or it was going to be temporary, and being there for much longer than they anticipated, and that being kind of like the door or the moment where you kind of realize this isn't where I want my life to be.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that's such a mature thing to happen to someone at such a young age. So kudos to you for that.
Thank
I love that
you.
for you.
Thank you.
So clearly teaching wasn't always your dream, but it became your passion. And so let's
Absolutely.
talk about that.
So teaching, it's just something that you feel empowered every day. Whether it's a good day or a bad day, you know you're making an impact.
Yeah.
And there's no better community to serve than the children
Right.
of our world, because they're going to be leading it someday.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important that when they're forming their opinions, their thoughts, when they're forming who they are as people, to kind of guide them in, they don't have to be exactly like you, but to guide them in sort of a right direction.
Right.
And the community I serve a low income community. My students face all different types of situations. They face neglect, abuse, homelessness, hunger. They live in a food desert sometimes is what it feels like. When I'm going out for lunch, there's nothing but fried foods and things that aren't sustaining the body. So I just think it's really important that you're providing them with opportunities of the world.
Yeah.
Giving them exposure, because some of them don't leave that certain radius that they live in. So it just, seeing the impact I make on them year in, year out, and see how some students, they come in 6th grade, they say, I hate science, I'm not good at it, I don't know anything. Transitioning to 8th grade, and they feel confident. I see kids who were quiet with their hands down, raising their hands, wanting to be the first one to answer, helping their peers who used to never say anything at all. I think that's important to me, and it just makes me feel really good about it.
Right.
And I just feel really good about seeing kids who look like me.
Right.
I will always come back to that, is seeing kids who look like me feel empowered.
Yeah.
Because I remember being one of the only Black kids in rooms and in certain spaces. And I genuinely sometimes would feel shy that if I got it wrong, I was kind of like embarrassing my whole race, as as sad as that sounds, that's what it feels like, is that I always feel like, you always hear this phrase, especially from Scandal, is when you're Black, you have to work 10 times harder just to get half as much. So I just want my kids to feel that they are worthy, because they are.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, I think the same applies in the corporate sector. I got promoted at a time when diversity was at the top of everyone's mind. And so while I worked really, really hard in my space, and all of a sudden now somebody's cutting my lawn, but we're going to work through that. So while I was qualified and had worked hard, had taken all the projects, had done all the difficult things, when I got promoted, because DEI was just something that was top of everyone's mind, the first thing that people said was that I was promoted because I was Black. And that hurts. It hurts a little bit, because it really diminishes and undermines all of the work that you put into building your experience, building your brand, making sure you did all the difficult things. You dress up and you prepare and you give it your all for your interview, and you're so excited and you feel like you are carrying the whole culture on your back, because there are so few women, but also so few Black women that are VPs in the sector that I work in. And so it is important that people like us who get the opportunity, take it and really run with it and make space for people that will come behind us. And there's an added pressure to be better than anyone who has sat in that seat before, to do things that have never been done before, because you know that while you deserve to be there because you did the work.
Yeah.
There is a population of people that sit around you, that sit in rooms with you, that swap emails with you, that, you know, attend after work events with you. They do not believe that you're supposed to be there. So I
Absolutely.
100% get that. So let's shift to reality, the reality of being a teacher, walking into that space every day, because I think of teachers and I'm like, they're so lucky. They have the entire summer off. They have Christmas off. They have Easter off. They have spring break. I swear you guys have like every Wednesday off, Thursday half a days. Like, what is happening?
Because we need them.
What is happening?
We absolutely need them.
You absolutely do. You absolutely do.
And I think the reason why we need them is that a lot of people, they look at our job and they think, oh, like you just get up in front of the kids and talk. But I think it's just so much more than that.
Right.
I feel like we're mentors to the students, we're counselors to the students, we're their coaches. Like we don't have outside coaches to come in for the sports teams. Those are all ran by the teachers who volunteer.
Wow. Yeah.
We're chaperones for the field trips. We do it all for them. Like we balance a lot of things all at once. I genuinely thought going into teaching that I was just gonna show up in the classroom, teach and leave.
Right.
There's days I stay after for hours to work on a bulletin board, to, you know, prepare lesson plans, to sometimes just hang out with the kids who are in after school because they needed that. So I think that the job is very complex, and you're not just doing one task. You're kind of taking on multiple roles within a singular job description.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like that's one of the things that going in I didn't know, but it makes me happy because those are the opportunities that you're able to build relationships with the kids and see them in a different element.
Right.
You get to see who they truly are. And it helps because I joke around with kids about things that happened at recess or things that happened on a field trip. And it just helps to kind of build that closer bond. So I really like it.
Literally unsung heroes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree. All right. So is there a typical day? And if so, what does that look like for people who are aspiring to be a teacher and they're like, not sure that's for me? Is there a typical day and what does that look like?
A typical day? Honestly, with my school, I feel like there's never a typical day. Like we follow the schedule from different periods. So I teach, we all have different schedules each day where I'll see certain students in the morning and some in the afternoon and vice versa, just to kind of alternate that flow. But there's some days we have modified schedules because there's a speaker coming. There's some days where there may be a field trip, testing. So I feel like you just have to be very adaptive to that environment because you honestly never know. You may have a fire drill in the middle of your very well-planned lesson that you didn't know about.
Or your lawn guy might show up.
You see?
Cut your lawn during your meeting.
But unfortunately for them, we're very adaptive. So
we're pushing through.
We're pushing through, absolutely. So that's what I would say is that there's really not a typical day. You just have to be prepared for anything.
Yeah. Okay. So you talked about speakers coming. I was one of those speakers. And so I had an amazing time. I thought your students were awesome. I love that you get them in the 6th grade and they continue to stay with the same teachers in the 7th grade and 8th grade until they move into high school. But I wanted to share because they wrote me these lovely notes that I still carry around with me. And this happened like in February, but they wrote me these notes. And so I want to share some of them with you. There's one in here that's my favorite. I might save that for last. We'll see. All right. So look at this. I mean, Picasso. Okay? So thank you for presenting to us. You are very inspiring and you have a lot of passion. Thank you for telling us how things work and telling us that the only thing you really need to do is be kind and hopeful. That's a big part of it. Definitely being kind and hopeful will get you further than being disgruntled and not happy. So
that's the one.
Thank you, Miss Diane Francis, for coming to our school. We appreciate it. We love you more than Mr. Farrell. Please don't show him this. But here we are. What does that say? What does that say? Please read that aloud for the classroom.
P.S. Don't show him this. It's okay. I saw it now. So
because what? We love you more than Mr. Farrell.
It's okay. They graduated.
Thank you, students. Picasso. Let's see. I want to thank you for sharing your time with us and telling us students about your career, possibly inspiring many students. Possibly is a strong word.
Possibly,
Like
yeah,
say, definitely inspired some students on that day.
that part.
Definitely inspired some students. All right, this one is really, really tiny, has 2 hearts. They love me. Thank you for coming today. You really inspired me into doing something similar to your job. Thank you for taking the time out today and coming to present. I really appreciate you. And also, happy early Valentine's Day. You're really funny.
Aw,
They thought I was funny.
they're cute.
I got a little bit of comedian in me, just a little bit. All right. Thank you for teaching us how your job works and why you wanted to be in the position you're in now. Hope you have a good time in New York. I had a great time.
We had a
A time
fantastic
was had.
weekend.
A time was had. So happy career day. It was actually their career day, and I was humbled and honored to come and speak. And then this one, this is one of my other favorites besides the one that they like me better than you. Thank you for sharing your interesting information. You clock T with that phone call thing because I work in customer service. I lead in customer service. And I was like, clock T. I think that was like one of the first few times that I've heard that and
Yeah.
really understood what it meant. And I was like, like the whole finger. I was like, is it this finger? Is it that finger?
I feel like I've seen people do this
But
with
they're
the
like,
middle
one
one,
means
this
one
one.
thing and then the other one means another thing. And I'm just like, I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to offend.
I tell them all the time. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So yes, career day was amazing. I flew from Florida all the way to New York to present to probably 6 classes that day.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but it was totally worth it. Those kids were so grateful. They had amazing questions that I did not anticipate at the middle school level. They just did a fantastic job, and I could see like the desire in their eyes to want to do better, to do well, to do what they've not seen their parents or their grandparents or their neighbors do. And my heart was full at the end of that day. So talk to us about career day.
Yes. Career day was amazing. So what we do is we separate the kids by their grades, and then we have them go into their small group rooms, which is kind of like anybody who's from my generation knows that's kind of like homeroom that we do in the middle of the day, kind of like just a break from all of the learning that you're doing, and we'll focus on like reading and stuff like that. And we put them in a round robin type of style.
Okay.
Where they were just rotating rooms and different presenters were there, and all of the presenters are related to, friends of, or known about through the teachers or the
Oh, okay.
staff. So somebody on staff was related to, and we make sure to emphasize that to the kids as well, is that you need to be extremely respectful because these are people's families. Like this was my aunt. And everybody knows I do not play about my
He
aunts.
does not play about his
So
auntie.
they know that, and honestly it just humanizes us a little
Yeah.
bit to them. And it was great. I loved it. We saw people from all over. We got to see the VP.
Yes,
The VP.
that's right.
We had people from, content creators, chefs. My best friend Brian, he came.
was
He was a
good.
chef. He's a
Yeah.
chef and content creator. He came for that. They really loved his presentation as well. We had people who work in like filming studios, Pilates instructors, just various different careers. And that's another added component that I was talking about with that exposure, is that sometimes we just feel like all you can be is a doctor, lawyer, etc. No, there's other options for you. And whatever passion or hobby that you feel like isn't something that you can sustain, there's someone doing it.
Right.
There's someone doing it. There's opportunities for you. And so I just want to thank you so much for flying out and coming, because a lot of people were like so surprised when you said that you were from Florida.
Yeah.
I was like, they're like, and you came because he asked? That
Yeah,
I said,
absolutely.
family over everything.
Yes,
Like,
over everything.
So
I will show up every single time.
every time. And
Yes,
same, like me
yes.
right here today. So.